Have you ever been angry at your best friend? Maybe they said something that hurt you, or maybe you said something you didn't mean. Then days passed. You wanted to talk, but your heart said no. You waited for them to say sorry, and they waited for you. And slowly, the friendship you loved started to fade away. We've all been there, right? Because sometimes it's easier to stay angry than to forgive. But deep down, we all want peace. We all want to feel that warm smile again. Today's story is about that. About two friends, a small mistake, and a big lesson. It's not just a story. It's a mirror of real life. A story that will teach you something more powerful than anger. It will teach you the beauty of forgiveness. So listen carefully. Feel every word, because at the end of this story, you might just remember someone you need to forgive too. Part 1. The Fight. It was a warm, sunny afternoon in a small town. The school bell had just rung, and the playground was full of laughter. Children were running, playing, shouting, and sharing stories about their day. Under a big mango tree, two girls sat close together. Their names were Rina and Sofia. They were best friends, the kind of friends who finish each other's sentences, share snacks, and always sit next to each other in class. Every day they walked home together, laughing about small things. They shared secrets, dreams, and even tears. People often said, Rina and Sofia are like two sides of the same coin. But that day, something changed. The day started normal. They laughed, ate lunch, and talked about a new storybook that Sofia loved. It was her favorite book, a gift from her father. The week before, Sofia had lent that book to Rina. After school, Sofia smiled and asked, "Hey, did you bring my book today?" Rina froze. She looked down, nervously playing with her fingers. Not yet. I think I lost it," she said quietly. Sophia's smile disappeared. "What? You lost it? Rina, that was my favorite book." Rina tried to explain. "I'm sorry. I looked everywhere. I'll find it soon." But Sophia was too upset to listen. Her voice rose. "You never care about my things. You always forget." The words hit Rina hard. She felt her chest tighten. She replied sharply, "It's just a book, Sophia. Why are you making it such a big deal?" Sophia's eyes filled with tears. "Because it's not just a book. It's special to me." Rina crossed her arms, angry now. "Fine, I said sorry. What else do you want?" For a moment, both stood silent. Only the wind moved the leaves above them. Then Sophia turned and walked away without saying another word. Rina stood there watching her go, her heart pounding. On her way home, Rina kicked small stones on the road. Her eyes burned, but she didn't cry. She told herself, "I didn't do anything wrong. She's overreacting." But deep inside, a small voice whispered, "Maybe I did hurt her." At home, Sophia sat on her bed, holding an empty space where the book used to be. She thought about Rina's words again. "It's just a book." Tears rolled down her cheeks. To her, it wasn't about the book anymore. It was about trust, care, and the feeling that her best friend didn't understand her heart. That night, both girls went to sleep angry and sad. Neither one said sorry. Neither one sent a message. And for the first time in years, they didn't talk to each other the next morning. Two hearts were hurting, not because of a book, but because of words spoken in anger. Part 2. The Silence. The next morning, the classroom felt different. Rina came in quietly and looked toward the window where she and Sophia always sat together. But today, Sofia was already there, sitting alone, her head down, pretending to read. Their eyes met for a second, then both quickly looked away. That 1 second felt heavier than words. During class, Rina wanted to whisper something funny like she always did, but she didn't. Sofia wanted to pass a small note saying hi like before, but she didn't either. They both stayed silent, and that silence grew bigger every day. At lunch, Rina sat with other classmates, but she didn't laugh much. Every joke felt half as funny without Sofia beside her. Sofia, on the other hand, ate quickly and went to the library alone. She told herself, "I'm fine," but her heart said, "You miss her." A few days passed. It was strange how two people could be so close once and now act like strangers. They walked past each other in the hallway, pretending not to see, but both could feel the other's presence. That's the thing about friendship. When it breaks, even silence can be loud. At home, Rina looked at her phone. The last chat message from Sofia was still there. "Good night, bestie, heart." She stared at it for a long time. Her fingers wanted to type, "I'm sorry," but her pride whispered, "No." She shouted first, "Let her talk to you." Sofia was doing the same thing. She opened their chat, scrolled through old pictures, selfies, birthday photos, silly faces. She smiled for a second, then sighed. Why can't she just say sorry, she thought. But deep down, she knew she could say it too. The truth was, both were hurting for the same reason. They cared. They cared too much to admit they missed each other. And sometimes that kind of silence feels heavier than anger. A week later, something happened. Their teacher gave a group project. Names were read out loud, and guess what? Rina and Sofia, you'll work together. Both froze. Their classmates laughed. "Oh, the best friends are back." Rina smiled awkwardly. Sofia forced a small laugh. But inside, their hearts raced. When class ended, they sat together for the project. It felt strange, like meeting someone you know deeply, yet feeling like a stranger. Rina spoke first. "So, what shall we do?" Her voice was soft, careful. Sofia shrugged. "Anything's fine." They worked quietly, barely looking at each other, but every small word, every shared glance slowly melted a bit of the ice between them. That night, both thought about the project and about each other. Neither said it out loud, but both wished for one thing: a reason to talk again, not as partners, but as friends. Part 3. The Rainy Day. A few weeks passed. The project was done, the grades were given, and Rina and Sofia still weren't the same. They spoke when they had to, but the laughter was gone. It felt like there was a wall between them, invisible but heavy. Then, one afternoon, the sky turned gray. Thick clouds gathered above the school, and the wind began to blow hard. Children ran to the gate, trying to get home before the rain started. Rina cocked her books and looked outside. Drops of rain began to fall, slowly at first, then faster. Within minutes, it became a storm. She opened her umbrella and started walking home, careful not to step into the puddles. The streets were almost empty, the sound of rain echoing all around. As she turned the corner near the bus stop, she suddenly stopped. There, standing under a small tree, was Sofia. She had no umbrella, no jacket, just her school bag over her head. Her uniform was already soaked. The buses weren't running because of the heavy rain. For a second, Rina hesitated. Her heart said, "Go." Her pride whispered, No. She stood there, watching Sofia from across the street. Then a big flash of lightning struck, followed by a loud clap of thunder. Without thinking, Rina ran through the rain toward her friend. "Hey!" she shouted over the sound of the storm. Sofia turned, surprised. Rina held out her umbrella, breathing hard. "You'll get sick. Come under it." For a moment, Sofia didn't move. Then, slowly, she stepped closer. The two girls stood side by side, half wet, half covered by the umbrella. Neither spoke for a while. Only the rain talked, soft, steady, calming. Finally, Rina said, her voice small, "Sofia, I'm sorry." Sofia looked at her, water dripping from her hair. "For losing the book?" she asked gently. Rina shook her head. "For everything. For shouting. For not understanding you." Sofia smiled faintly, her eyes glistening. "I'm sorry too," she said. "I shouldn't have yelled. I was upset." Rina nodded. "I know. I should have cared more. It wasn't just about the book, was it?" Sofia smiled sadly. "No, it was about us." They both laughed softly. The sound of the rain seemed to join in, washing away the anger that had been sitting in their hearts for so long. As they walked home together under the same umbrella, their shoulders touched lightly. It felt like the old days again, warm, safe, simple. The rain kept falling, but something inside both of them finally cleared. That day, under the gray sky, two best friends found their way back to each other, not through big words, but through small kindness and forgiveness. Part 4. The Lesson. The next morning, the sky was bright again. The storm was gone, but something had changed. Not just in the weather, but in Rina and Sofia's hearts. When Rina entered the classroom, she saw Sofia already there, smiling at her. It was a soft, shy smile, but it meant everything. Rina smiled back and sat beside her, just like old times. At first, they didn't talk much, but soon, little by little, words began to flow again. They shared pencils, whispered jokes, and even laughed at the teacher's silly stories. It felt right. It felt like the sun had come back after a long, cold night. During lunch, Sofia took out her lunchbox and said, "I brought your favorite today, egg rolls." Rina laughed. "You still remember?" "Of course," Sofia said, smiling. "Some things never change." They sat under their favorite mango tree again, eating together. The same place where they had fought weeks ago, but now it felt peaceful. After a while, Sofia looked at the sky and said softly, "You know, Rina, I learned something from all this." Rina looked at her curiously. "What?" Sofia took a deep breath. "When I was angry, I thought it would make me feel strong, but it didn't. It only made me sad and tired. Forgiveness feels lighter than anger." Rina nodded slowly. "Yeah, I felt the same. I thought if I waited for you to say sorry first, I would win. But it wasn't winning. It was just hurting both of us." They both went quiet for a moment, listening to the birds. Then Rina said, "You know what? When we forgive, we free ourselves. It's like opening a window and letting the sunlight in." Sofia smiled. "Exactly." They looked at each other and laughed. This time, really laughed. The kind of laugh that comes from peace, not pride. Rina picked up a small stone from the ground and drew a heart in the dirt. Then she wrote one word inside it: forgive. Sofia looked at it and nodded. "That's our new rule." "Rule?"
asked Rina, smiling. Yes, Sofia said. Every time we fight again, and we'll remember this word, forgive. Rina laughed. Deal. At that moment, the wind blew gently through the trees, carrying away the last pieces of anger between them. It felt like life was giving them a second chance, and this time they knew how to take care of it. When the bell rang, they walked back to class together, side by side. Sofia whispered, You know, being angry is easy, but forgiving, that takes courage. Rina smiled. Then I guess we're brave. And from that day on, their friendship grew even stronger, built not on perfection, but on understanding, patience, and kindness.
Part 5. The Message. Days turned into weeks, and weeks into months. Life went back to normal for Rina and Sofia, but somehow it felt better than before. They still laughed at silly things, shared snacks, and helped each other with homework, but this time they understood each other a little more deeply. One afternoon, they sat again under their favorite mango tree. The golden sunlight touched their faces as they talked about dreams, school, and life. Sofia smiled and said, You know, Rina, I think that fight taught us something important. Rina nodded. Yeah, it taught me how easy it is to hurt someone you love and how hard it is to say sorry. Sofia added softly, But when we forgive, everything feels lighter, like we can breathe again. They both sat quietly for a moment. The air was calm, and the sound of the wind made the leaves whisper above them. Forgiveness. It wasn't just a word anymore. It was something they had lived, felt, and learned from. Suddenly, Rina said, Hey, let's make a promise. Sofia looked curious. A promise? Yes, Rina said with a smile, that whenever we fight again, and I know we won't stay silent for long. Sofia laughed. Deal. We'll talk, not shout. We'll listen, Rina added, not judge, Sofia continued. And they said together, and we'll forgive, but never forget the lesson. They laughed and clapped hands, their special best friend handshake. It felt like the universe itself smiled at that moment. As the sun began to set, Sofia said, You know, Rina, I used to think forgiveness was weakness. Like, if you forgive, you lose. Rina looked thoughtful. Yeah, I used to think that too. But now I know forgiveness is strength. It's harder than staying angry. Sofia nodded. When we forgive, we choose peace over pride. And that's real power. Later that evening, as Rina walked home, she passed by children playing and laughing. One little boy fell, and another quickly helped him up. They smiled, dusted off, and kept playing like nothing happened. Rina smiled to herself. Maybe forgiveness starts that simple. At home, she wrote in her diary, Today I learned something. Forgiveness doesn't change what happened, but it changes what happens next. That night, both girls went to sleep with peaceful hearts, not because everything was perfect, but because they had learned how to fix what was broken. And so their story became more than just about friendship. It became a lesson for everyone, a reminder that even when people hurt us, we can choose kindness. Because forgiveness doesn't mean forgetting, it means letting go, so love can stay.